Hi, all you ladies kicking ass. Welcome to a new episode here on the podcast. I'm doing something a little bit differently today. So if you're just hearing the audio, I'm a little bit nervous today. I'm taking a big leap and I am going to go ahead and record this session. It's my first recording of a solo session, and it's a little bit weird to just be talking to yourself. However, I am envisioning this huge room of wonderful women that are go-getters, overachievers, unapologetically becoming themselves in their business and their big goals and their big dreams. I'm envisioning this crowd that is going to come to my Ladies Kicking Ass conference in the fall time. I announced it. It's there. Date to be determined, but it will definitely be happening this fall. And I can't wait to bring you some of my favorite women that will be able to pour into you and be able to help you know that you're not alone. You weren't meant to do anything by yourself, and that you have a huge rally of cheerleaders around you. Me being one of your biggest hype girls. So I'm super excited about that. So stay tuned for that. But today I wanted to talk to you about why it is so important to put yourself in a room full of women that you can learn from. I think many times I know for myself, one of the biggest things that held me back from going into a room with a bunch of very qualified, called women was because I thought, where do I fit in here? There tends to be kind of uh, with what I had seen in the media and the people that I had followed, there was a very like they look like they got their shit together. They are little pretty proper things that dress real nice, and they seem to have life figured out. I'm not that person. Um, I can cuss a lot. I grew up pretty rough in Wyoming with a bunch of boys. Um, I sometimes feel like maybe that makes me a little bit unapproachable to some people, especially very go-getter kind of women that seem to be in alignment. I don't find myself in alignment. I kind of run around in the chaos and just juggle all the things all together. So I was very worried to walk into that room full of women that were chasing big dreams too, because I thought, where the hell do I fit into this? Or how can I contribute to them? I know how much stuff I can get out of them. But to be honest with you, I was also very scared to go into a room of women because I felt like maybe I would make myself be smaller, appear not so bold, appear a little more prim and proper than how I generally carry myself. I had the opportunity this year to join in with Lindsay Schwartz Community Builders Mastermind. It's something I've talked to Lindsay a few times over the years about different events that she had, and she's definitely someone that I look up to. I love what she has built with Powerhouse Women. I've met some incredible women through that community, and I've wanted to build that so much. And I wanted to build it for women that were not necessarily just in the home service industry, but big, bold women that are chasing really awesome goals and could maybe get some feedback from what my experience is of working in very male dominated fields. So going into this, I walk in the room and bless her soul, she gave us seat assignments. We didn't wander aimlessly in there, but when I walked into this room last month, I was instantly intimidated. There are beautiful women in this room. There are very accomplished women in this room. There are some people that are putting on their first big events. That's something I've always wanted to do, but definitely wasn't quite there yet. There were women that were just getting started. There were women that were really cool, calm, and collected. And then there were kind of some louder women. And the more that we all got to know each other and the more Lindsay opened up the floor for us to be able to talk and discuss certain things, the more we realized we're really not all that different. And me walking into the room, I'm like, these women are business coaches. These women are doctors. These women are lawyers. These women are now trying to train and educate people on the crafts that they know. You own a septic company. Like, what are you going to contribute here? And it was fascinating to see how quickly, once the room let their guard down, how much we could actually really help each other. And I felt like going into that room, I didn't have anything to contribute because these people weren't in my industry. Maybe they hadn't walked the life path that I had. Maybe they didn't have the failures that I've had. I've had a very successful business and I lost it due to some family situation. And I have felt a lot of shame around that. And so walking into that room, I felt like, yeah, really, that's what it was. I didn't know how to feel. Um, But what I found out after being there, and I'm so thankful that this was a 4-day mastermind so that we got the time to be able to open up to each other. I have a lot in common with a lot of them. And even if it's just the fact that we're moms and we're trying to show our children what's possible, the fact that we're in service industry and we're trying to show people what's possible. You don't have to do the same old normal bullshit day in and day out and expect to have different results. That's crazy. That's literally the definition of insanity. So we don't have to do that stuff. What we can do is we can be unapologetically bold, beautiful women that show up and speak to the women that we're meant to speak to. I truly believe that if God put this desire in your heart to have a big goal and to achieve big things and to be out in front of people helping them, even if you're inspiring them, not even necessarily educating them on anything in particular, you have to follow that because there are people that need you. And that to me is what is put on the hearts of women that are needed. And there's plenty of people that talk about the same things that I talk about on this podcast. But some of you may need to hear it from me. Some of you may feel like I did walking into that room and feeling like, should I have nothing to contribute here? Or I'm the outlier because I am in a plumbing company. I'm in an electrical company. I'm just a landscaping business. I'm just a pool business. Just because it doesn't have a pretty title behind it, don't you dare for 2 seconds think that what your experience is in building a business or being part of building a business isn't something that you can help other people with. Your Oh my gosh, I don't even like, I get so passionate about this. Like, your contributions to even women that aren't even in your industry are like, holy fuck, if she can do that, why can't I do that? And we talked about in this room what we've been able to do as far as accomplishing goals and what we've been able to do to set a new standard. How many of us women grew up? I know where I grew up in Wyoming, most of the women stayed at home and just cooked, cleaned, and took care of the kids. And I'm not saying that as just, I shouldn't have said that because there's no way in hell I could do that all day long. I would go crazy. That is one hell of a life dedication to do that day in and day out, day in and day out, all day long without doing something on your own time or for your own self with stuff. So bless the stay-at-home moms. But that's what I grew up seeing as an example. And when I had these big, audacious goals of things that I wanted to achieve, I really got shunned by my own family because that's not what girls did. That's not what girls did. I remember a male's voice very much growing up as a young, very outgoing, very bold girl saying, "Who the hell do you think you are?" And that is something that I have really struggled with my entire life, is feeling that way. But you know what? After really, really, really searching deep, and I challenge you to do that if there's that little thing that just keeps repeating inside of your head too, I challenge you to sit down and unpack that and see what that means to you. Because what used to be a question is now a fucking statement for me. I know exactly who the hell I am. I'm the person that changed my family tree. I'm the person that shows my daughters what it can be like as a woman working in a very heavily dominated male industry. My business is just as great as their businesses. I feel like my business is better than their businesses. I feel like being a woman in the home service industry is a fucking superpower. And you know why? Because women have an extra level, an element of care that many times I don't think men mean to do it on purpose, but sometimes they just don't pay attention to that. We have a very nurturing thing. We want to bring people in. We want to make them better. We invest in them as people. That is something I have done to build incredible teams, incredible teams. My daughter sees me as a female business owner, as a kick-ass woman, and she doesn't know any different. She thinks that's just the way that it is. And I love that. If that is all my life work ever is for my daughters to see that it's not weird for a woman to own a business. What do you mean? Like, my mom owns a septic company. Like, what the hell is your problem? Like, why aren't you doing something? I love that because I didn't have any of those role models growing up for women. I had beautiful women that taught me how to be a beautiful mom, and I'm so thankful for that. But now it's my turn to be able to pour into other moms and say, there can be something else. For so many years, we were told, pick, which one do you want? Do you want to be a mom or do you want to have a career? Why the fuck can't you do them both? And do them both beautifully. First, you have to get out of your head because nothing is ever going to be perfect. This perfection paralysis that we all have is bullshit because you and I both know none of us is ever going to be perfect. Ever. And you can't look at someone and be like, oh my God, her life is perfect because what she's showing you is the highlight reel. It's not all the shit she deals with on a daily basis. If it's that person that you're looking at that you think their life is so perfect, it's not. They got shit just like you do. So don't ever feel like you're second rate to somebody that's just showing you those things. I want to be a very genuine, unapologetic, entrepreneurial woman. I want you to see all the shit I go through. I want you to know that there are things that I struggle with. Financial shit in my business drives me crazy. It drives me crazy. It's a necessary evil of running a business. And that's my goal this year is to become much more educated in that area of my business. Give me a marketing plan. I will crush the shit out of that thing for you. Give me a financial plan. I got a lot of questions. And that's okay. It's okay. For years, I struggled thinking, what the hell is wrong with me? I don't know what's wrong with me. I can't figure this out. I can't get out of this situation. This keeps manifesting itself again and again. And you know why I did? Because I was manifesting that shit because all I did was constantly worry about where the next dollar is coming from. Once I sit down and really start unpacking that, what I'm really starting to realize is all of those repeating things that you think is making you not live your ideal life are things that you need to unpack that might not have anything to do with the current situation, but a mindset block that you formed many, many years ago. I grew up in a very, very poverty-stricken area. There were a few people that had some money, but they were very few and far between. Most people worked construction, worked in the mine, worked at the cheese factory when we had one, went to the oil fields. That's just what it was. That was the industry of where I grew up at. And I love that because that industry instilled seriously some of the best work ethic you will ever find. I would put myself up to anybody as far as work ethic is concerned because I don't ever get tired of working. I love working. I find great fulfillment in working. And I think that's a beautiful thing. But I was never taught about financial things. I was never taught about shit. And all I know is that we never had any money. We were poor all the time. So even as a 40-year-old woman now, I look at this and I think, oh my God, that's exactly where this stuff is coming from. I have such a money mind block and this scarcity mindset, thinking, I don't know where my next dollar is going to come from. Sorry, I had to kick my dogs out of the room. But if you find yourself in this place where you are feeling things coming up over and over and over again that are preventing you from getting to that big level where you want to be to help and serve other people, You got to sit down and look at it, sister. You got to look at it. You got to write it all down. The good, bad, the ugly, cry, fucking scream if you want to, but do something different. Because if we keep doing the same thing that we're doing, we're never going to be able to achieve those big goals. There's a reason why we write the same shit every single year down on a goal board. I do. I have them hanging up here on my door, and I look at them and I marked 1 out of 5 off. And it's the same shit that I put back up there again this year. What am I going to do this year that is going to make this different? Because next year, I can't write these goals again. I've just said that for myself. There was a beautiful text message that came from Lori Harder's text message list this morning. And I want to read this to you because it was so beautifully said. And yet, like a little bit, I love Lori. And I love her because she's just so point blank and she just says it how it is. And I appreciate that very much. But her text today said, I don't care what your goals are. Show me your commitments on your calendar and I'll tell you about your future. So I'm going to leave you with that today. I know this is kind of a shorter podcast episode, but I want you to think about what your commitments are. I want you to think about what it means to get into a big room. I want you to think about what it takes to achieve those big dreams that you have. First of all, they require weekly check-ins. Always, 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 always. I want you to journal about them. If you're writing them down every day, how the hell can you not be focused on them at some point during the day? We all get the same 24 hours a day. So when you look at someone that you aspire to be and you say, where the hell do they have the time to do this? They made a time. If it's a priority, you will make the time. Just like recording this video. I know it's scatterbrained. I know I had to hit pause to go kick my dogs out of the room. I know I've almost broken down in tears a couple of times and I can't keep my hair out of my face. But you know what? Being on video is one of the scariest goddamn things in the world for me. And I'm still doing it. I'm still doing it. And I'm going to do it. And I'm going to keep showing up and I'm going to keep making these video podcasts and I'm going to keep posting them on YouTube. And if one person watches it and gets something out of it, I have done my job that day. If somebody listens to this podcast and they think, oh my God, I am suffering with those same things too, then I helped one person today. Ladies, we have to start talking about the shit we struggle with and we have to start fucking celebrating ourselves because we suck at both of those things. We're good at hiding stuff and we're not good about celebrating ourselves. You have to celebrate yourself along the way too. You can't just show up at the journey and be like, oh, how many times have you set a big goal? And then at the end of it, you're like, well, I should probably feel better about this right now, but what's next? Because I know I do that. I know I do that with all of them. Some of the biggest goals. This last year, I was awarded one of the inaugural spots with the Titan 100, which recognizes 100 CEOs or C-level executives throughout small businesses in the Phoenix metro area. This is a huge honor and a huge accomplishment, and it's something I've been scared to death to talk about. Because I feel like my celebration might make somebody feel smaller. I need you to understand something, and this is something that I'm talking to myself about right now too. Your accomplishments don't make other people feel smaller. To the right people, your accomplishments show people what's possible. To the wrong people, you will make them feel smaller. They're not your people, and you have to let them feel small. Because something inside of them is triggering that for them. But you should not dampen your flame. You should not lower your light. You should not stop smiling. You shouldn't stop being happy for what you have accomplished and what you've been recognized for. When someone gives you a compliment, say thank you. And really soak it in. Think about it. Write about it. Somebody complimented me on this today. Even if it's random. I got complimented on my pedicure going to get pizza for my kids a couple of weeks ago. Most random compliment I have ever received from somebody was like a 20-year-old kid. It kind of made my day. I'm not going to lie. I've never been complimented like that before. And I really thought about it for a couple of days. And I don't know if he was just trying to be really nice or had a foot fetish. I'm not really sure. But at the end of the day, it worked for me. It was something that was so awesome. He didn't have to say that, but he did. And it really made my day. So if you really want to see what can happen, one, be the person giving the compliments. Two, fucking celebrate yourself, woman, because you deserve it. And three, make sure that you're putting your stuff that you want to get done on a calendar. I'm going to check in with you this week through our Ladies Kicking Ass Facebook group and on Instagram and see where you're at with those bigger goals. So until next time, please, please, please take your goals as serious as you take your work, taking care of your kids, loving your husband, doing all those other things, because none of that shit matters if you don't love yourself. Bye.